Notes from my July 2024 reading of Hannibal, Rome's Worst Nightmare. I am Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle, and I read this book. So it's a biography of militant Hannibal Barca of the Carthaginian Empire, which included parts of modern-day North Africa, Spain, and Portugal. And it's Hannibal, Rome's Worst Nightmare by Philip Brooks. Did I spell it right? It's one L in Philip. The copyright says 2009 and 2016, so it's the 2016 Scholastic Inc. edition. It's hardcover, and I'll put the ISBN in the video description. I started the book on Friday, 26 July 2024, and finished the book today, Sunday, 28 July 2024. It's 144 pages, and it took me 3 days. This is the public library copy. It was on the shelves, and I plucked it right off. And there was in the back cover, somebody had left a ticket, boarding pass for an airplane ticket, so I put it in the shredder, shredded it. So there we go. Now you know. Alright, so that's the introduction. Anything else to know? Okay. Book notes, including construction and design. That's a very cute design. That's part of why I picked it, was I was like, oh, this is like a elongated version of those picture books that are like the Eyewitness or whatever picture books, where it's like a bunch of graphics or visuals or whatever, and then like a little bit of text in the caption. And this is like the grown-up version of that, but still, I would guess it's Scholastic, so it's kind of geared toward children. But it is 144 pages, and there's a good chunk of content in here. It's a mixture of text, kind of discussion questions, or like project questions, or I think it was this, they call it keep in mind. It's broken into different parts. There's visuals, like no pictures because cameras didn't exist back then, at least so far as we know now. So a bunch of like digitized versions of the graphics from back then. Or coins. Is there a coin in here? So it's really well done. I'm not, it's all, yeah, okay. And then it has some excerpts from like translations of ancient texts. Hannibal Barca was born 247 BC, was that it? So centuries before Jesus Christ came along, this guy was born in Africa. He's from northern Africa. So there we go. I liked it. It's like a pocket book, kind of. It did take me, it was not read in one day. So it was like, while I read it quickly, the total time for my reading was, while it was fast, it was not like necessarily as fast as I thought it was going to be. And which is kind of true for this guy's military escapade, right? It ended up taking him, what, like 17 years or something like that. So I'm like, oh, there you go. So this is kind of what the page setup looks like. Yeah. So there's spacing and stuff. I liked the thickness and page style. So, yeah. All right, reading notes. So it's about this guy. He's military. He's from northern Africa, and he invades Europe to kill all of Rome, to destroy Rome. And he enters Europe via like Spain / Portugal, and then marches eastwards. But it's a 17-year journey, and the Romans catch on to him pretty quick, and so there's a bunch of military like battles, and eventually he kind of retreats his army back to /Navy / whatever, back to northern Africa, where he is pursued by the Romans and ends up taking his own life. So I think the point there being is since Rome was coming for him, even though they said they didn't want to kill him, he was like, well, this is my only way out. That's as portrayed in the book, okay, the biography. And so that's kind of the big takeaways. And then I had some I had some notes, and then there's a soulmate thing in here. So let's see, page 13, he was talking about, it says that he swore himself to, like, making it his life pursuit to battle Rome through his death, which I guess he did end up doing. But I was like, it's an interesting construct to invoke as a source of motivation, because it implies that Rome will last longer than he will, right? So it's kind of like a motivation source that accepts defeat at the beginning. It's like, okay. Page 32, 33. He's approximately 26 years of age when he got married. Yes. Okay. And his wife was also of Northern Africa. Okay. And it even says Northern Africa descent. Right, so if you see in pictures where this is a white guy, he's not. He's African. Or he's lighter toned African, right? Technically, if we wanted to be inclusive of Africa, Africa's like a biracial continent, right? If we wanted to go like light and dark, there's a variety of skin tones from the continent of Africa. So far as I know, it's the only one that's true for. It's unique to Africa. So. Okay. Page 88. So he was kind of he was a violent dude. He was a militant, right? So there was a bit of, when he's going to Rome and he's burning villages, you know, the raping of the women, invading, you know, kind of true military style back then. Right? It was like, why do they keep fighting back? It's like, well, this guy wants to come in, assume power over Rome and kill all the Romans, right? He made that his life pursuit, is to always kill the Romans and battle the Romans. So it was like, well, of course they fought back when certain death is the outcome, and they want, right, their own original peoples as their leaders, right? Like the original peoples of Rome. So it's just kind of, well, what do you expect? Okay. So, but anyway. Oh, page 96. There's a bunch of rings in the visual of of killed Romans. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. There'd be like 20,000 people that died. And I go, what happened to the women? Like, so I think about how imbalanced that is in terms of gender dynamics. So essentially all of the women hate their men so much they send them off. But then like, so essentially, so if 20,000 men are killed in war, that means 20,000 women are single. How did they die? Right? Or is it like, and that was true for both sides, right? Carthaginian Empire and Roman Republic. So, like, how did the women die? How did those 20,000 corresponding women die? Or was it like each woman had like 400 or 500 soulmates, which might have made a whole lot more sense, but I don't want to send mine off to be dead. If I have that many, I don't know how many I have. So it's not like 10,000, I hope. Okay. You know. Okay. So anyway, there's that. And then, oh, page 103. That's right. Claudius Nero, and Emperor Nero. What was it? Nero was the first guy to actually pull off, or not the first, but one of the first documented cases of somebody like actually pulling off the eternal youth in multiple high positions. Because Claudius Nero was over 200 years before Christ, and according to the PBS documentary, the Nero Files, Nero was after death. So we have the Claudius Nero and the Emperor Nero, same person, but assume different ones, different life stories as the background, just for documentation, right? And it's like, humans used to not struggle with eternal youth whatsoever, and still might not in like untampered situations. It's just the documentation that has introduced a lot of problems, right? But humans themselves do just fine with the documentation that, well, is being used for attack, I suppose. So there we go. Those are my reading notes. In conclusion, it marked full book number 32 for me for the 2024 year, and kind of fills in a little bit of I have a lot of books I've read, and then I did one children's book biography, the Kamala Harris one. So now I have like the bridge between the Kamala Harris one and kind of the other ones I've been reading is like the 144 page children's youth biography. Ha ha! There we go. Instead of JB, you know, or is it? This is like juvenile biography, and then B, adult biography, youth biography. Like young adult meets teenager kind of. But a good one. I still recommend it as an adult. So might even do better than the adult biographies of this guy. All right. So there we go. So my notes for my July 2024 reading of Hannibal, Rome's Worst Nightmare by Philip Brooks.